Welcome to the Spring 2016 Texan Battalion Commissioning Ceremony. My name is Cadet Griffin Curry, your Master of Ceremonies. Please rise for the entrance of the commissionees and remain standing for the National Anthem and Invocation by Cadet Brandon Blackburn.
Please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we all gather here today to commission these outstanding young men and women as officers sworn to protect not only their friends and family, but also the entire nation. Bless them who have also accepted the challenge to lead others who have sworn the same. Give them the courage to lead the way, the wisdom to find the right path, and the integrity to hold firm to their path. As they make their way into the armed services, we would ask that you not only watch over them, but also those who are already serving. Those servicemen and women who have gone before them, giving these men and women the freedom to volunteer to defend their country. Bless this day, bless these new officers, and bless the United States of America. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Good morning. On behalf of the Professor of Military Science, Lieutenant Colonel Marty Deckard, Army ROTC cadre, and our commissioning cadets, I would like to welcome Brigadier General Tracy Norris, President Dominic DeTavio, Dr. Karen Murray, Dean Styron, Dr. Del Carmen, distinguished faculty and staff, parents, family, friends, and all who have joined us in celebrating the commissioning of 18 new officers into the United States Army, the largest commissioning class here at Tarleton State University in the last 30 to 40 years. Our program begins with the remarks from Brigadier General Norris, followed by Lieutenant Colonel Deckard administering the oath of office to our commissionees, the pinning of the second lieutenant insignia, and honoring the traditions of the first salute. Mr. Bob Beckett will then present the newly commissioned second lieutenants their commemorative first set of gold bars. We will close our ceremony with the 2016 commissioning class presenting a class gift to the Tarleton State University Army ROTC program. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I introduce our guest speaker, Brigadier General Tracy R. Norris. Brigadier General Norris is the Assistant Deputy Adjutant General for the Texas Military Department. She provides leadership and direction in strategic operations and planning for the Adjutant General and the Deputy Adjutant General of the Army. General Norris received an Army ROTC scholarship and began her military career in 1986 after graduating from Florida State University with a Bachelor of Science degree in anthropology. She went on to receive her Master of Science in Urban and Regional Planning, a Master of Strategic Studies from the U.S. Army War College, and a Master of Business Administration from the University of Texas at Austin. General Norris's previous assignment was the Director of the Construction and Facilities Management Office for the Texas Army National Guard since November 2011. She also served as the commander of the 176th Engineer Brigade. Prior to these positions, she was assigned as the Chief of Staff, 36th Infantry Division, and deployed to Iraq in 2010, Operation New Dawn, where the 36th Infantry Division commanded and controlled the 9 southern provinces of Iraq. General Norris has had the privilege of serving the Army National Guard in 4 different states: Georgia, Florida, Massachusetts, and Texas, and at National Guard Bureau in Washington, D.C. She has been assigned to leadership positions as platoon leader, company commander, operations officer, executive officer, battalion commander of the Recruiting and Retention Battalion, and battalion commander of the 176th Engineer Battalion. General Norris's awards and decorations include the Legion of Merit, Bronze Star Medal, Meritorious Service Medal with 4 oak leaf clusters, Army Commendation Medal with 3 oak leaf clusters, Army Achievement Medal, Army Reserve Components Achievement Medal with 4 oak leaf clusters, National Defense Service Medal with 1 Bronze Star, Iraqi Campaign Medal with 2 Bronze Stars, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, Humanitarian Service Medal, Hurricane Katrina/Rita, Armed Forces Reserve Medal, Army Service Ribbon, Army Reserve Components Overseas Training Ribbon, Army National Guard Recruiting Badge, Texas Lone Star Distinguished Service Medal, and the Department of State Franklin Award. Please join me in a warm welcome for our distinguished guest speaker, Brigadier General Tracy Norris.
I think we'll do a Reader's Digest version of all those awards next time. Well, good morning. Okay, this is Tarleton State, right? Good morning. Good morning. Dr. DeTavio and distinguished faculty, members, families, and guests of the Texan Battalion. It's an honor to be here today on this extraordinary day at Tarleton State University with the Texans and the Texans. These individuals today are raising their hand and committing to serve the greatest country in the world with the best overall volunteer military in the world. You have worked for this opportunity to serve as an Army officer and lead and care for one of our greatest resources, the Army soldier. I'm going to speak a little bit this morning on leadership and serving as an Army officer. And it'll be a combination of, I keep my personal quotes that I refer back to, so it'll be a combination of some of the things I think that successful leaders need, as well as integrating some of the quotes in. First of all, serving in the military is a demanding and dangerous profession, and therefore is a team profession, not a team sport, a team profession. You must devote yourselves to the process of learning to be a great leader, a great team member, and team builder, and this must continue throughout your career. Successful leaders will understand the strengths and weaknesses of yourself as well as of your soldiers, and they will leverage those strengths to make up for the weaknesses as a team. One thing to try to remember, all players or soldiers do have a place where they can add value to the team, about 98% of the time, because there are always those bad apples in there that will be your job to help them find the way to the door. Remember to accomplish your mission, but to take care of your soldiers with whatever your job is. Battalion S1 platoon leader, Brigade S4 down the road. Always take care of those soldiers that are working for you, as well as your peers and your leadership. I think one of the biggest parts of being a successful Army officer and leader is the respect and the use of your non-commissioned officers. Because believe it or not, part of their job is to train the officers, especially the second lieutenants. If you hear another non-commissioned officer complaining of an officer, then probably there's an NCO out there who didn't do their job. But it also is the officer's job to listen to the NCOs. As a platoon leader, eventually company commander, and some of you will be battalion and brigade commanders, remember also that you're only half of that command team. Your platoon sergeant, your first sergeant, your battalion and your brigade command sergeant major are the other half. And work hard to make it a team and learn from each other. I tell you, Command Sergeant Major Cordova, my engineer brigade commander, is one of the best NCOs that I have ever served with. And for 3 years taught me how to look at things differently through a different lens. And together we resolved issues and made the brigade successful. As leaders, you must be modest and willful, humble and fearless. And as we know, you can always tell, especially a humble leader and those leaders that are not humble. You must have unwavering resolve and do what must be done. One of my favorite quotes that I do refer to, especially during times of frustration, was by Albert Einstein, who said that it's not that I'm so smart, but it's that I stay with the problem longer. And sometimes that's what it takes. Also, another good quote I refer to is from Harry S. Truman, and it says, "You can accomplish anything in life provided that you do not mind who gets the credit." I don't know if you're familiar with the phrase Spotlight Ranger, but it looks like you are. As you get into your military career, though, you will go across Spotlight Rangers, and that's not what you how you want to be, because those people start to know who those people are. Also, remember that if no one's following you, then you're not a leader. Your soldiers have to want to follow you. You can make them follow you for a short period of time, but a true, successful Army officer and leader, those soldiers want to follow that person. Another successful tactic or item that successful leaders and Army officers do is to always remember to try to tell the soldiers why. Another one of my quotes, I think this might be the last one, but the ability to inspire distinguishes good leaders from great ones. We follow those who inspire us, not for them, but for ourselves. And what the great leaders do to inspire us is tell us why they do what they do. They always start with why. When you explain why, people are able to understand the big picture and where they fit into that big picture, and that brings them value. So I would assume that most of you feel that same way. You want to know that big picture, how you fit in, but it also helps that if you have to make additional decisions on that process, mission, or operation, you can make that decision without additional guidance. And you'll find that there's a lot of times when the why will not be discussed. But as a leader, try to always give the soldiers a why. Be yourself. Remember, loyalty, it goes up to the leader, but it also goes down to those soldiers that you're going to be taking care of. Be disciplined and know what right looks like. Don't take no as the first answer. You will find, especially as a company grade officer and eventually as a major, that you'll get a lot of no's up front, and you're going to have to fight through it for the success of whatever mission or operation or even taking care of your soldiers. So don't take no as a first answer, and sometimes that's going to be hard. Some of the things I'm going to tell you now you already know, but I'm going to say them again because they're that important. Don't compromise your principles. Don't lose your credibility. Your credibility is something that no one else can take from you. You can only lose it, and you will almost never get it back. And we talk about credibility, we're talking about trust. And if you lose the trust of your soldiers, your peers, or your leadership, you might as well just pack your bag and go home. And remember, people are always watching you. And you are going to be the one that sets the tone with those people that are watching you. Enjoy your job, make a difference, become the most competent in your skill set. If you're a logistician, ordnance, engineer, be the best, always learning to keep your skill set to be the best. Because today we are in a different kind of war, and the definition of the enemy keeps changing. So even more important to continuously maintain competency and continue to learn in your skill set. Again, I'm repeating myself, but it's important. The military is a demanding and dangerous profession. But remember, it's also a noble profession. I have loved being in the Army and the Army National Guard, as well as being a soldier. And I will tell you, with hard work and determination, you can achieve anything. I have watched the doors open, giving me opportunities I could never have imagined. I never would have thought I would have been the Chief of Staff of an infantry division. And in your career, you will have the opportunities that I could not imagine either. So no matter how long you stay, for 2 years, 5 years, 20, 30 years, you will be a better citizen because of the values, the work ethic, and leadership skills you will learn. And yes, I would do it all over again. I hit 30 years April 30th of this year. I only thought I was going to stay 6. Less than 1% of the American population will serve in the military. So I'd like to thank you in advance for raising your hand and for the service that you're about to do, as well as for your families and the service that they're about to do. And I would say, always stay Texas proud and Army strong. Thank you.
On behalf of the Texan Battalion, we would like to present you with this plaque in appreciation of you giving your remarks this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As part of the commissioning ceremony, all lieutenants are administered the oath of office. The tradition of the oath spans a 200-year legacy, dating back to the Revolution. By taking this simple oath, these young officers dedicate their service in defense of our country and its Constitution. Lieutenant Colonel Decker would now administer the oath of office.
Please rise. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Adam Ben Florence.
I, Jacob Andrew Barnes.
I, David Brisser.
I, John Henry Jeff Brownstead.
I, Nate Burns.
I, Cody Sisman.
I, Stephen Cully. I, Stephen Michael Cumby.
I, Stacy Flores.
I, Long Witt.
I, Justin Lugers. I, Josh LaSalle.
I, Robin Westgren. I, David Ortega. I, Jocelyn Ritz. I, Alexander Pérez.
I, Dylan Moore. I, Kelby Wiley.
Having been appointed an officer
Having been appointed an officer
in the Army of the United States,
In the Army of the United States.
in the grade of second lieutenant,
In the grade of second lieutenant.
do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear.
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
That I take this obligation, that I bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I take this obligation freely,
That I take this obligation freely,
no mental reservations,
no mental reservations,
purpose of evasion.
or purpose of evasion.
And that I will well and faithfully
And I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon the office which I'm about to enter.
upon the office which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
All military personnel, please rise. Attention to orders. The President of the United States has reposed special trust and confidence in the patriotism, valor, fidelity, and abilities of Adam Barnes, Jacob Barnes, David Brister, John Henry Brownstead, May Burns, Cody Cisna, Stephen Coley, Stephen Cumby, Stacy Flores, Long Nguyen, Justin Lugers, Joshua Lassell, Robin Musgrave, Miroslava Ortega, Jontel Ritz, Alexander Terrazona, Dylan Warren, Kelby Wiley, and hereby appoint them to the grade of Second Lieutenant in the United States Army to rank as such the 6th day of May 2016. These officers will therefore carefully and diligently discharge the duties of the office to which appointed by doing and performing all manner of things thereunto belonging. And I do strictly charge and require those officers and other personnel of lesser rank to render such obedience as is due an officer of this grade and position. These officers are to observe and follow such orders and directives from time to time as may be given by me or the future President of the United States of America or other superior officers acting in accordance with the laws of the United States of America. This commission is to continue in force during the pleasure of the President of the United States of America for the time being under the provisions of those public laws relating to officers of the armed forces of the United States of America and the component thereof in which this appointment is made. Signed, the Honorable Patrick J. Murphy, Secretary of the Army. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause to our newly commissioned lieutenants. Please be seated. Now we will recognize two long-standing traditions in the Army: the pinning of the second lieutenant rank insignia and the tradition of the first salute, known as the Silver Dollar Salute. The Silver Dollar Salute is an honored tradition. British regiments stationed in colonial America brought with them a number of customs and traditions that were retained by the newly formed American Armed Forces. Authorized by Congress on April 2, 1792, the silver dollar is traditionally the only coin given in exchange for the first salute. The coin represents more than a dollar in currency, however. To every new officer, it has a special significance. It represents the symbolic receipt of respect due to the newly earned rank and position. And it also signifies a deep sense of gratitude of the new officer for the knowledge that enlisted soldiers, especially non-commissioned officers, passed on to them during training. It is an acknowledgement from one professional soldier to another that says, "Welcome to our service and the profession of arms." It's part of all soldiers' love of duty and their respect for each other, and it strengthens their commitment and responsibility to serve their country. Feel free to move to the center aisle to take pictures as your officer is getting pinned and conducting their first salute. Second Lieutenant Adam Barnes will be pinned by his mother, Carol Barnes, and his brother, Second Lieutenant Jacob Barnes. Adam served as the Cadet Battalion S3 Operations Officer, holding the rank of Cadet Major in the Texas Battalion. He was also a member of the Ranger Challenge Team in 2012, 2013, and 2014. The son of Jim and Carol Barnes of Belton, Texas, Adam has earned his Bachelor of Science degree in Political Science with a double minor in History and Military Science, and is graduating with honors. He is receiving his United States Army commission as a Second Lieutenant Branch Detailed Infantry and Adjutant General Corps. Following the Maneuver Basic Officer Leaders course at Fort Benning, Georgia, Adam will serve as an active duty officer with the 2nd Brigade Combat Team, 10th Mountain Division, Fort Drum, New York. Ladies and gentlemen, 2nd Lieutenant Adam Barnes. Second Lieutenant Adam Barnes will receive his first salute from his father, former Staff Sergeant and retired Chief Warrant Officer 4, Jim Barnes. Second Lieutenant Jacob Barnes will be pinned by his mother, Carol Barnes, and brother, Second Lieutenant Adam Barnes. Jacob served as the Cadet Company Executive Officer and Operations Officer, holding the rank of Cadet Captain in the Texas Battalion. The son of Jim and Carol Barnes of Belton, Texas, Jacob has earned his Bachelor of Science degree in History and is receiving his United States Army Commission as a Second Lieutenant in the Aviation Branch. Following the Aviation Basic Officer Leaders course at Fort Rucker, Alabama, Jacob will serve as a Texas Army National Guard Aviation Officer, where he will fly the Apache attack helicopter. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Jacob Barnes. Second Lieutenant Jacob Barnes will receive his first salute from Staff Sergeant Jose M. Acosta. Second Lieutenant David Brister will be pinned by his parents Penny and Sonny Brister and fiancée Maria Velasquez. David served as the Cadet Fire Support Officer, holding the rank of Cadet Second Lieutenant in the Texas Battalion. The son of Penny and Sonny Brister from Glen Rose, Texas, David has earned his Bachelor of Science degree in Industrial Technology and is receiving his United States Army Commission as a Second Lieutenant in the Field Artillery Branch. Following the Basic Officer Leaders course at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, David will serve as an active duty officer with the 25th Infantry Division at Schofield Barracks, Hawaii. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant David Brister. Second Lieutenant David Brister will receive his first salute from First Sergeant Johnny Rositas, United States Marine Corps, retired. Second Lieutenant John Henry Brownstead will be pinned by his parents, retired First Sergeant Michael Brownstead and wife Violet Brownstead. John Henry served as the Cadet Battalion S1 Personnel Officer, holding the rank of Cadet Captain in the Texas Battalion. The son of Michael and Violet Brownstead of Frisco, Texas, John Henry has earned a double major with a Bachelor of Science degree in Management and a Bachelor of Business and Administration in Marketing, and is receiving his United States Army Commission as a Second Lieutenant in the Adjutant General Corps. Following the Basic Officer Leaders course at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, John Henry will serve in the United States Army Reserve as the executive officer for the 350th Headquarters Company in Grand Prairie, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant John Henry Brownstead. Second Lieutenant John Henry Brownstead will receive his first salute from his father, retired First Sergeant Michael Brownstead. Second Lieutenant May Burns will be pinned by her parents May and David Burns. May served as the Cadet Battalion S3 Operations Officer and Platoon Leader, holding the rank of Cadet Major in the Texas Battalion. The daughter of May and David Burns of Granbury, Texas, May has earned her Bachelor of Science degree in nursing and is receiving her United States Army commission as a Second Lieutenant in Army Nurse Corps. Following the Basic Officer Leaders course at Fort Sam Houston, Texas, May will serve as an active duty officer. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant May Burns. Second Lieutenant May Burns will receive her first salute from retired Sergeant James Trimble. Second Lieutenant Cody Cisna will be pinned by his mother and father, Paula and Kenneth Cisna. Cody served as the Cadet Company First Sergeant, Battalion S3 Operations Officer, and the 4th Platoon Leader for the Ranger Challenge Team, holding the rank of Cadet Major in the Texas Battalion. The son of Paula and Kenneth Cisna of Brazoria, Texas, Cody has earned his Bachelor of Science degree in Criminal Justice and is receiving his United States Army commission as a Second Lieutenant in the Infantry Branch. Following the Basic Officer Leaders course at Fort Benning, Georgia, Cody will serve as an active duty officer with the 82nd Airborne Division, Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Cody Cisna. Second Lieutenant Cody Cisna will receive his first salute from his father, retired Sergeant Kenneth Cisna. Second Lieutenant Stephen Coley. Second Lieutenant Stephen Coley will be pinned by, one second. Second Lieutenant Stephen Coley will be pinned by his Captain Terry, Sergeant First Class Cortez, and Staff Sergeant Acosta. Stephen served as the Cadet Operations Officer and Intelligence Officer, holding the rank of Cadet Captain in the Texas Battalion. The son of Michael and Amy Coley of Midlothian, Texas, Stephen has earned his Bachelor of Science degree in Mathematics and is receiving his United States Army commission as a Second Lieutenant in the Transportation Corps. Following the Basic Officer Leader course at Fort Lee, Virginia, Stephen will serve as a United States Army Reserve Officer with the Transportation Unit in Granbury, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Stephen Coley. Second Lieutenant Stephen Coley will receive his first salute from Sergeant First Class Cortez. Second Lieutenant Stephen Cumby will be pinned by his mother, Molly Banasak, and brother Christopher Cumby. Stephen served as the cadet platoon leader and battalion S2 intelligence officer, holding the rank of cadet captain in the Texas Battalion. The son of Molly Banasak and James Cumby of Hopkinsville, Kentucky, Stephen has earned his Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in criminal justice and is receiving his United States Army commission as a second lieutenant in the Ordnance Corps. Following the basic officer leader course at Fort Lee, Virginia, Stephen will serve as an officer in the Missouri National Guard with the 311th Brigade Support Battalion in Fulton, Missouri. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Stephen Cumby. Second Lieutenant Stephen Cumby will receive his first salute from his uncle, retired Marine Sergeant Scott Loomis. Second Lieutenant Stacy Flores will be pinned by her mother Sharon Flores and father, Sergeant First Class retired Benito Flores. Stacy served as the Cadet Command Sergeant Major and the Cadet Deputy Commander, holding the rank of Lieutenant Colonel in the Texas Battalion. The daughter of Sharon and Benito Flores of Killeen, Texas, Stacy has earned her Bachelor of Science degree in kinesiology and is receiving her United States Army commission as a second lieutenant in the Field Artillery Branch. Following the basic officer leader course at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, Stacy will serve as an active duty officer with the 2nd Infantry Stryker Brigade Combat Team in Fort Lewis, Washington. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Stacy Flores. Second Lieutenant Stacy Flores will receive her first salute from father, retired Sergeant First Class Benito Flores. Second Lieutenant Long Nguyen will be pinned by Captain Terry, Sergeant First Class Cortez, and Staff Sergeant Acosta. Long served as the Cadet Company Commander and the Tactics Training Officer, holding the rank of Cadet Captain in the Texan Battalion. The son of my fam of Kyle, Texas, Long has earned his Bachelor of Science degree in Interdisciplinary Studies and is receiving his United States Army Commission as a second lieutenant in the infantry. Following the Maneuver Basic Officer Leaders course at Fort Benning, Georgia, Long will serve as an active duty infantry officer according to the needs of the Army. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Long Nguyen. Second Lieutenant Long Nguyen will receive his first salute from Sergeant First Class Cortez. Second Lieutenant Justin Lugers will be pinned by his mother and fiancée, Melissa Lugers and Allison Newcomer. Justin served as the cadet company commander and second platoon leader, holding the rank of cadet captain in the Texan Battalion. The son of Thomas and Melissa Lugers of San Antonio, Texas, Justin has earned his Bachelor of Science degree in Political Science with a minor in Military Science and is receiving his United States Army Commission as a second lieutenant branch detail armor and adjutant general corps. Following the Basic Officer Leaders course at Fort Benning, Georgia, Justin will serve as an active duty officer. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Justin Lugers. Second Lieutenant Justin Lugers will receive his first salute from his father, former Sergeant First Class and retired Chief Warrant Officer Thomas Lugers.
Sir, Chief Warrant Officer, report.
Second Lieutenant Joshua Lassell will be pinned by his mother, Sonja Cook, and father, John Cook. Joshua served as the Cadet Company Executive Officer and Battalion S6 Communications Officer, holding the rank of Cadet Major in the Texas Battalion. The son of Sonja Cook of Killeen, Texas, Lassell has earned his Bachelor of Science degree in Criminal Justice and is receiving his United States Army Commission as a second lieutenant in the Field Artillery Branch. Following the Basic Officers Leaders course at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, Lassell will serve as a Texas National Guard officer with the 133rd Artillery Regiment in New Braunfels, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Joshua Lassell. Second Lieutenant Joshua Lassell will receive his first salute from his father, retired First Sergeant John Cook. Second Lieutenant Robin Musgrave will be pinned by her father, David Musgrave, and mother, Yolinda Musgrave, sister Second Lieutenant Ashley Musgrave, and brother, Cadet Jonathan Musgrave. The daughter of David and Yolinda Musgrave of Decatur, Texas, Robin has earned her Bachelor of Business degree in General Studies of Nursing and is receiving her United States Army Reserves Commission as a second lieutenant in the Medical Services Corps branch. Following the Basic Officer Leaders course at Fort Sam Houston, Texas, Robin will serve as an officer with the 417th Regiment, Camp Bullis, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Robin Musgrave. Second Lieutenant Robin Musgrave will receive her first salute from retired Master Sergeant Jimmy Finney. Second Lieutenant Miros Ortega will be pinned by her brother Boris Jimenez and father David Reza. Ortega served as the Company Battalion S3 Operation Officer Assistant for the Maverick Battalion and Company Commander Battalion S4 and Battalion S1 for the Texan Battalion, holding the rank of Cadet Captain in the Texas Battalion. Daughter of Patricia and David Reza of Dallas, Texas, Miros Ortega has earned her Bachelor of Science degree in Biology and is receiving her United States Army commission as a second lieutenant in the Engineer branch. Following the Basic Officer Leader course at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, Miros will serve as an active duty officer. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Miros Ortega. Second Lieutenant Miros Ortega will receive her first salute from retired Master Sergeant Shane Bellinger. Second Lieutenant John Tell Ritz will be pinned by her parents Jay and Jackie Ritz. Chantel served as the Cadet Battalion Commander and PAO, holding the rank of Cadet Lieutenant Colonel in the Texas Battalion. The daughter of Jay and Jackie Ritz of Kempner, Texas, Chantel has earned her Master of Science degree in Biological Sciences and is receiving her United States Army commission as a second lieutenant in the Aviation branch. Following the Basic Officer Leader course at Fort Rucker, Alabama, Chantel will serve as an active duty officer and attend flight school at Fort Rucker, Alabama. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Chantel Ritz. Second Lieutenant Chantel Ritz will receive her first salute from her father, retired First Sergeant Jay Ritz. Second Lieutenant Alexander Terrazona will be pinned by his wife, Veronica Bolivar. Alexander served as the Cadet Battalion S6 Communications Officer and Platoon Leader, holding the rank of Cadet Lieutenant in the Texas Battalion. The son of Fidel Terrazona and Rosalba Serrano of Bucaramanga, Colombia, Alexander has earned his Bachelor of Science degree in nursing and is receiving his United States Army commission as a second lieutenant in the Army Nurse Corps. Following the Basic Officer Leader course at Fort Sam Houston, Texas, Alexander will serve as an Army Reserve Officer with the 94th Combat Support Hospital in Seagoville, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Alexander Terrazona. Second Lieutenant Alexander Terrazona will receive his first salute from Staff Sergeant Sarah Statura. Second Lieutenant Dylan Warren will be pinned by his parents West and Louisa Warren and close friend, Senior Airman Jacob Uze. Dylan served as the Cadet Battalion Executive Officer and Battalion S4 Supply Officer, holding the rank of Cadet Major in the Texan Battalion. The son of West and Louise Warren of Burleson, Texas, Dylan has earned his Bachelor of Science degree in Political Science and is receiving his United States Army Commission as a second lieutenant in the Quartermaster branch. Following a basic officer leader course at Fort Lee, Virginia, Dylan will serve as an active duty officer with the 1st Cavalry Division, Fort Hood, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Dylan Warren. Second Lieutenant Dylan Warren will receive his first salute from his grandfather, retired Petty Officer First Class Michael Beard. Second Lieutenant Kelby Wiley will be pinned by his mother and father, Tina and Steve Wiley. Kelby served as the battalion's Cadet Command Sergeant Major in the fall, and later as the company commander during the spring semester, holding the rank of Cadet Captain. The son of Tina and Steve Wiley of Granbury, Texas, Kelby has earned his Bachelor of Science degree in Criminal Justice and is receiving his United States Army Commission as a second lieutenant in the Engineer branch. Following the Basic Officer Leader course at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, Kelby will serve as an active duty officer with the 36th Engineer Brigade, Fort Hood, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Kelby Wiley. Second Lieutenant Kelby Wiley will receive his first salute from Staff Sergeant Sarah Statura. At this time, Lieutenant Commander U.S. Navy, retired, Bob Beckett from the Military Officers Association of America will come forward to present the newly commissioned second lieutenants their commemorative first set of gold bars, a time-honored tradition. For over 80 years, the Military Officers Association of America has been serving those who serve their country with more than 370,000 members from every branch of service, including active duty, retired, Guard and Reserve officers, and their families. Second Lieutenants Barnes and Wiley, representing the commissioning class of 2016, will present a class gift to the Tarleton State University Army ROTC program. This year's gift is a framed photograph of the Texan Battalion in formation on Military Drive. The photograph replicates an older image of the Tarleton Corps of Cadets taken during the 1920s. The photograph will be proudly displayed in the newly constructed Tradition South Residence Hall, the home of the Texan Corps of Cadets. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please stand for the playing of the Army Song? You can find the words to the Army Song printed on the back of your program.
March along, sing our song. We're the army of the free. Count the brave, count the true, who will fall to victory. We're the army of our name. We're the army of coming for land. Working hard for right and to live the nation's might. And the army will going along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till battle won. And the army will going along. Then fly high, hey, the arms on its way. Count off the graves of its song. Wherever we go, you will always know that the army will going along.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our ceremony. The newly commissioned officers will move to the front of the stage. Take this opportunity to congratulate the newest second lieutenants in the United States Army. Please join us in the Thompson Student Center ballrooms for refreshments. Again, on behalf of the Tarleton State University Army ROTC, we would like to thank you all for sharing this exciting time with us, and we wish the best of luck to each of the newly commissioned lieutenants. Texans lead the way.